I'm Deanna James.
I'm Bobby Johnson, and today we're gonna tat and talk.
So right now I'm tattooing Bobby, which is absolutely nuts. And every now and then I stop and I'm like, oh shit, this is a guy I've looked up to since I was an apprentice, and he's letting me tattoo him right now. And I'm trying not to think too much like that because it literally makes me want to have a panic attack. But I think we're doing okay now.
Alright, okay. Yeah, Deanna doesn't realize how good she is. One day, maybe she will.
But Bobby has always made me feel like I was good around him and has always been supportive since before I was anything. And I really appreciate that.
Okay, here's the deal. This is how Deanna and I met. I'm sure if you guys have heard the podcast, you know the story, but she came up to me, said I like your work. He's laughing. I don't like it when people have fun without me. Anyway, you make sure that I get the story right.
Yeah.
You came up to me and were like, yeah, and then...
Yeah, we were at the last Paradise tattoo gathering that was in Colorado.
Yeah, so we were at Paradise. She comes up to me, says, I like your work. I don't want to use big fan. She was like, you're the best. No, she was like...
I was just like, I'm a big fan.
And then I was like, oh, thank you. And then later on, I think you were like, hey, would you do a trade with me? Or were you just going to give me a piece of artwork?
Yeah, I was just going to give you a piece of artwork, and you were like, no, I want to trade, and you gave me one of your original
Oh, yeah, that's right, that's right.
drawings.
So I had some paintings with me that were originals painted. I got the better end of the deal. It's just one of an old painting of mine. And immediately I saw the potential that she had. So it's not like I grew to know this. It's like when you have it, you have it. And I just saw it immediately in Deanna. Obviously my intuition was correct.
And there's still like, of course, as I've gotten older and tattooed more and grown, like I feel like I've lost a lot of friends, or I felt like I've noticed a lot of people being ingenuine or only liking me when I became something they thought they could gain something from, or even honestly losing a lot of friends too. But you have always been the same.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, that's funny. We were actually talking about genuine and disingenuine people, and I feel like what's funny, I just kind of put this together now. As my career has gone, and as I've like stepped more in the spotlight, it's funny that like some people will leave you because of that, and then other people will flock to you because of that. Yes. And both of those are not healthy. Okay. It's
You're
just like
so
okay.
right. Like, you give people the time of day, even if they have nothing to get back to you. And I think that really shows, like, it's like if you're on a date with someone and you can tell a lot by, like, how they treat the waiter.
You can tell a lot by how somebody orders in the fast food lane. Some of us are so nice that even if we don't hear what the person says, we'll say yes, and then they'll go, I'm sorry, and then they'll go, I'm so sorry, I didn't hear what you said. That's Deanna. That's what Deanna does.
That's what happened last night. We were getting Whataburger, and I don't know what the lady said. It was like, oh, and I was just like, yes. And then she's like, oh. I'm like, I'm sorry, I actually didn't hear a word you just said.
What she listed off was desserts and asked if she wanted any, and Deanna said yes to everything because she's so nice.
That's, I don't know if that's being nice or just having ADHD. So right now I'm doing wings. And I'm really nervous because Bobby does incredible wings, although hopefully I do them very different. And hopefully he doesn't notice that I suck at tattooing.
Oh, I've noticed.
You're like, oh, that's contemporary.
I've already made laser appointments. It's not the worst. Honestly, it's not the worst. I did use some numbing stuff here and there. Oh my God. This makes a video or not. All of my back-to-back clients, you are the greatest humans. Anyone who's done a back-to-back is like the premium product. They are the premium humans. This is very hard. Lexi, who's behind the camera, and Deanna have done 3 days in a row, and I'm just like, how the fuck? How?
People have been wearing really cool stuff lately. It looks like it's called Several or
Well,
something.
you know.
What's that all about?
Oh, my clothing brand.
Yeah. I'm honestly so excited because it's actually legitimately sit clothing. It's not merch. It's like a clothing line, which is so tight. Like you put so much thought into it, obviously, and I've been waiting for this to come out.
Yeah, I mean that's the goal, hopefully, you know. But like I feel like so fucking long. Technically I'm still working on it, but I think the reason that I told someone the other day, I was like, yo, I want you to get a piece of this clothing and then you will know the type of person that I am. You will know that I'm the type of person that's like thinks of everything, makes sure that it's like dialed. Even the stuff now that's like super sick, I'm already like, how can I make it better? You know, looking at you guys more than the camera, huh?
No,
So this is numb.
So it is? Okay.
This is the, I think maybe like it won't numb if it's open skin? I don't know.
Bobby, do you reference other artists' tattoos?
Never.
Why is that?
Does everybody want to look the same?
No.
Seems like it. Seems a lot like everyone wants to look the same.
No, I think
I
it's...
never do. I haven't for years.
And it's good in the beginning of your career, I think.
Oh,
when you're like
absolutely.
learning and trying to just learn how, like what looks good in a tattoo.
Yeah.
Obviously never copying. When do you feel like you should stop?
I haven't actually referenced tattoos to design tattoos in years. I really try not to, just because I don't want to look the same as everybody else. I don't understand why anybody would want to look like someone else. And I think like you said, it's like really, really healthy at the beginning of your career to reference tattoos, just to see like what a solid tattoo is, what a solid foundation is, what works, what doesn't. But as soon as you have those fundamentals down, looking at like your own reference, sometimes people draw their own reference, Taylor. Take photos of their own reference. You guys all do that. Like a lot of people here at this studio do that, right? Like take your own reference. I like to look at other artists. I love looking at other artists' stuff. Like it's like,
What kind
people
of
that don't
artists do you like looking at?
I mean, illustrators, photographers. I will look at like AI photographers, people that like do photography and then like throw it in AI and they spice it up. I look at everything. I get inspired by paintings in hotels.
Yeah.
Like for real. Like in my last seminar, it was at a hotel, and like the hours before I looked at a painting, I was like, fuck, that is sick. Took a photo of it, and I actually meant to show the class, like, hey, I'm gonna dig it up actually for my seminar in 2 days. I was like, hey, look, it's fucking everywhere. You don't have to look at tattoos to get inspired. It's on the walls of this hotel, right? And it was like really, really cool, just like designs, you know? Like, you can get inspired by so much and then create so much more,
Yeah.
you know?
It's in like everyday life.
So the difference between, for me, referencing an artist versus a tattoo artist, it can actually be the same if a tattooer is doing like a new thing and you get inspired by a certain corner of their niche and you're like, oh, I want to apply that to my tattoos, right? But I think more what I'm talking about is like people that reference tattoo artists and they want to emulate, be that tattoo artist, right? Like that's when it gets unhealthy, you know?
And no matter what, even if you're looking at tattoos as reference, even if you're not trying to copy, part of you is going to take something of theirs away, whether it's subconscious or not. And so I feel like it's harder to create your own style at that point, if that's your goal. Again, if you're like trying to learn, just like when I was trying to like do something different in tattooing, no one was doing like paintings in tattooing. I referenced other people's paintings and learned how to tattoo like a painting, and then eventually started like messing around with taking my own references and having Lexi and Ian help take the photos and direct them how to, like models, how to lay. And then I utilize AI, and then I have a background of drawing, so then I can fix what's wrong with AI. And I know what artist to like ask AI to reference and stuff.
Right, and the thing with the AI for me is it's, first of all, it's not going anywhere, so utilize it, firstly. Secondly, it's never gonna be perfect, like you said. And it's like I say in my seminars, it's okay to get a lady's reference and put it in the iPad and trace it, but you still should understand how to draw a lady's face, right?
You can always tell when they don't
Right.
know how to draw it.
Right, you just understand what you're tattooing and what you're drawing more versus like, oh, I think this is what it looks like. It's like, especially when you don't have that eye for it, you're like, oh, the eyelashes go way up here. And you're like, well, sort of. You're missing the implication. You're not implying that you're like, now it's all black. It's not like fading into a pink or, you know, there's just so much more to learn than just like, oh, eyes, ears, mouth, nose, you know, lips. It's like, no, there's way more to it. You have to understand it. So like, yeah, AI is reference, right? Like I hate that, like, I mean, yeah, sure, do I love it that it can just like create something that I would take days to create? No, not specifically, but again, it's not going anywhere. You may as well utilize it, otherwise it's the same thing as iPads. Like another good reason to not want to look like everybody else is, you know, when you stand out, want to look with you, right? Why would they get a tattoo from you when they can go down the street and get a tattoo that looks the same, right? If you stand out, more people will be like, fuck, I gotta get tattooed by that person. They're doing something that I've never seen before. They're doing it in just a slightly different way, and it's just it's magic, right? Versus like, that's sick. Hey, person down the street, you do a similar style. This is what I want, right? It just kills your work, right?
What do you think is a common mistake people make in their portraits?
In portraits? God, I'm not the one. Like in lady faces?
Yeah.
I would say, oh, God, a really, really common mistake is not only the top of a lip, but the underside of the bottom lip.
Ooh, yeah.
And there's just like
And how do
tiny
they do
implications that you can make to just like, if you look at my lip, it's not like lip and then lip. It's like lip, lip, and then there's this, it's not like lip, lip, chin. It's lip, lip, and then this indentation, and it rolls.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't capture that roll.
Oh,
And that like cast a shadow right here, and I feel like that's missed a ton.
And a lot of the times they'll do like a blatant, just like same value highlight that just lines the bottom lip.
Right, and or the top lip, even like the top of the lip. And another thing, for me personally, that I don't love is like when you like leave, when you're shading a face and you leave a gap before like the line.
Yeah.
It's just something that I don't.
Kill your
love
reflective
for-
highlights
Right,
is
right,
the
right,
moral
right.
of the story.
Right, right. I mean, and reflect, of course, like there are faces that do have that like harsh line.
But it's never even that harsh. Unless there's like a crazy glow, like a light bulb that's right here, you know?
Yeah, right. I mean, and these are all like things that I did.
That was the first time I got like a critique from one of my mentors on a drawing I did, and he was immediately like, push that back. Like immediately, it was so obvious. Now I always make sure.
What else? I think a lot of times people doing eyes will do black on the top for the underline, the under lid, and then they'll do black on the bottom as well, and that's fine, but they'll connect it. It'll be a complete almond shape, and you're like,
or it'll end at like a point, so
Yeah.
it'll look like an almond.
right. And that, and I guess like, that's okay. I just feel like the harsh black touch, like when it touches completely, looks like a kid came and like traced your drawing with a marker.
Yeah, yes.
You leave a little tiny gap, a little subtle gap, you know, and even little subtle gaps between like, depending on like the angle of the face, like little subtle gaps between like the round of the eye and then the eyelid, and then underneath the eye where it's like black, just like that tiny little gap for the eyelid fold, whether it's the top or the bottom, is like mature. You know, it matures. Oh, excuse me. It matures the.
That's a good
mature.
word. I think mature is such a great way to describe tattoos
Yeah.
nowadays.
Just art in general, I feel like there's a maturity to like the look of the tattoo, you know. Timeless is like something else that I constantly am like, does it look timeless? Does it look timeless? Does it look timeless, you know? Is it time stamped or does it look timeless, you know?
Yeah.
And I get, there's a lot of innovation in tattooing that's like, this is so sick, you know, and it might be time stamped, who knows, you can't predict that, but I personally will always love something that's like timeless. That's why I love doing ladies and flowers, because they're the two most timeless things, right? I can't say that enough, you know?
Yes. And the way you do them, there's like, I wish there was a list of what makes something look mature that you can like check off.
Yeah.
What else would be on that list?
Of mature? I mean, I would just say, mature can be anything. It can be like how you use your values, what colors you pick, depths that you're willing to go. That's another thing that I think a lot of people, and it's really hard, something that I've like had to learn, you know, by mistakes and like years and years of like tattooing, just being brave enough to like push things back. You and I were talking about this on this tattoo, right? Deanna wanted to push a piece of the hair back so that it wasn't all like a consistent highlight. And as soon as she did it, it was like, man, that not only made that piece of hair more mature looking, but it made everything else more layered, because it wasn't just like dark light, dark light, dark light. It just had this beautiful choice made, right? That's the choice you made, was like pushing things back so it made it look more mature. And I feel like in regards to the word mature, like it's the choices that we make, you know? Like, was that a mature choice? Was that like an educated choice, you know? Because like mature at the end of the day was like, you've learned how to be a fucking, you know, you've learned, right? I guess you're mature now. You've grown up, right?
Yeah, like looks grown up, I think is a great word for it. And even more specifically, like something that looks like a tattoo that was done even 5 or 10 years ago, I would think would be the opposite.
Right.
Like, I think when I think of mature, I think of something that is more evolved.
Absolutely.
Something
Yeah.
that like pushes, or I guess lets you know that, oh, this person has studied tats and stuff. Or
Hilariously, I'm just like the most immature fucking person.
but your
But,
tattoos
you
are
know,
very mature.
very
And
mature.
also, on
Demure.
that demure,
Demure even.
on
Some might
that
say.
list is not putting too much stuff everywhere.
Oh yeah, detail everywhere. We can't have it.
Yeah. So like knowing, like keeping it simple and holding back, or
Oh,
like
yeah.
pushing back values, or darkening things, or getting rid of edges.
Yeah, and I actually think there's a balance there too, because let's say I really dislike this term. If you ever had a conversation with me ever, you know that I don't like the term neo-traditional, but a lot of things in neo-traditional are like flat, 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 and then this one thing will be, you know, have depth and have roundness, and I don't know that I love that either. I feel like there's a balance, you know? It looks immature. It looks like, oh, okay, that's cool. It's cool, but like, now we've gone so far the other way that it's like turning back into traditional, you know? And you know what, that can just be like a blend. It could be like the color of a inside of the hood. Instead of it being like one blocked color, it can be like dark to light in the same color family, you know?
Maybe mature is simplifying if you put in like
Sure.
the simplest,
Yeah, I guess
simplest
simple.
term
Yeah,
ever. Is your shoulder okay?
Yeah, it's just me, my whole weight is on it, you know?
Yeah.
Well, my whole upper weight. Are you, okay, is the question, if we didn't have jobs as tattoo artists, what would our dream job be? Or what would we do? Because I'd probably work at Trader Joe's.
Dream job.
Dream job. Answer for both? Trader Joe's. I would crush Trader Joe's.
One thing about Bobby is he loves his tomato water.
I love
His
tomato
spicy
water.
tomato water.
I mean, I literally can and do eat chips and salsa every single day. And when I think about chips and salsa, my mouth waters, even if I just had it. I love chips and salsa so much.
Is that your favorite food?
I think so. I mean, I think like wings and or nachos, just put some cane sauce on that and let it rip. Make a sandwich out of that food. Anyway, we're going back to the dream job. Dream job? Okay, what would my dream job be if I weren't a tattoo artist? A rapper. And I can't rap and I don't want to, I just want the lifestyle. A rapper's hype man.
What do you think I would be?
A painter. I mean, honestly, it's funny because like her and I talked about this today. If I could really do whatever I wanted, it would just be paint, right? Because you can still create art. There's not the variable of hurting a human. You don't have to rely on someone making an appointment. You just paint, right? That's like a beautiful thing. You just paint whatever you want.
I have the same problem as you though. Like I would love that, but I hardly ever paint anymore. Why did you want to get tattooed by me? That's actually a genuine question.
I love getting destroyed. Just kidding.
I'm actually genuinely curious.
Ooh. I wanted to get tattooed by Deanna.
Because you have so many friends.
They're
like you're
really
someone who's
good.
friends with fucking everybody.
Yeah, I like friends.
And they're all really talented too.
I like friends. I mean, all my friends are amazing. It's crazy. It's actually crazy that I am friends with, like, in my opinion, the best tattooers in the world. Not only the best tattooers in the world, but like the best people. But I wanted to get tattooed by you specifically because you're doing something that I've just never seen before, right? And I felt compelled. Again, this goes back to like not wanting to look like other people. I felt compelled to get tattooed by Deanna because I was like, fuck, she's doing something that I've just never really seen before. It's different. The way she's applying it is different. You know, we've been friends for a really long time, so that's a bonus, but that was not the reason. That was not the reason. I just felt compelled to get tattooed. I just wanted to look at it every day. I call this my poop tat. I got that from Justin. He has a tattoo from Emily on his thigh, and he calls it his poop tat. He gets to look at it every time he poops.
Amazing.
And you poop a lot. Everybody poops a lot. And so I wanted to look at your work a lot, right? I wanted to be reminded of your work often.
This is good to have on film, so when I'm depressed all the time, I can look and listen to this again.
Really excited that I finally got a tattoo from my at least 10 years, 12 years?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm super excited to have a tattoo finally from Deanna. I tattooed her some years ago. We finally did our trade. And actually, I'm not getting tattooed because we were doing a trade. We didn't even discuss it. I approached Deanna, wanted to get a tattoo from her, and she didn't believe me.
I didn't.
And I was dead ass. I don't even use that expression, but I'm very excited. It's really cool to collect from one of my closest friends, and we'll see you on the next one.